Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today we will be going over my Week 6 predictions for college football. So, to start off, we're just going to be going through every top 25 game this week. And I'll be making a prediction, including a score prediction for each game. So, to start off, we have number 5 Cincinnati against Temple. Cincinnati beat Notre Dame on the road last week, and they looked really good. I think Cincinnati wins this 38-14. Stanford at number 22, Arizona State. Both teams are coming in off upsets. Stanford upset Oregon in overtime, and UCLA was upset by Arizona State. So, I don't really think I could see this game going either way, but I could see it being close. I think Arizona State comes out with the 31-20 win. The Red River Rivalry. Try saying that 5 times fast. Number 6, Oklahoma against number 21, Texas. Oklahoma is undefeated, but I'm not convinced they're a playoff contender. If they have a blowout win over Texas, that might convince me. Just because they've had too many close wins over teams that aren't that good. I think they're also going to be upset one time during the season, which is going to ruin their playoff chances. And I think Texas has a chance to pull off the upset. Texas is 4-1 with their lone loss coming against Arkansas. I have Oklahoma coming out on top in a close game, 38-34. Maryland at Ohio State, number 7 Ohio State. Maryland had 2 top 10 matchups in a row. Last week was Iowa, and this week is now Ohio State. I think Ohio State is going to dominate this game and win it 42-14. 11, Michigan State at Rutgers. Michigan State looks good through their first 5 games, but they really haven't faced a test. I think they beat Rutgers because Rutgers is not a test. They beat Rutgers 38-14. Number 13, Arkansas against number 17, Ole Miss. Both teams got blown out by the top 2 teams in the country last week. Arkansas was blown out 37-0 by Georgia, and Ole Miss got crushed by Alabama. Ole Miss is at home, but I think Arkansas is the slightly better team, so I'm going to go with Arkansas in a very close game, 28-24. Vanderbilt against number 20, Florida. Florida was upset by Kentucky, which brings their last week. They were upset by Kentucky last week, which brings their loss total to 2. An upset against Kentucky and a loss to Alabama. But I really don't see them losing to Vanderbilt. I have Florida winning big, 49-9. Boise State against number 10, BYU. BYU looks very good to start the season, just like they did last season. They started the season undefeated last year. They started undefeated this year. I think BYU improves to 6-0 with their 34-24 win over Boise State. Number 19, Wake Forest against Syracuse. Wake Forest is the only remaining undefeated team in the ACC after Boston College lost to Clemson last week. They're 5-0. I think they improved to 6-0 with the 34-20 win over Syracuse. Number 24, SMU against Navy. So, SMU looks good to start the season. They are undefeated. Navy beat UCF last week. So I think SMU will win this game, but not in a blowout. So I think Navy's going to keep this game close. This is one of the games that some people would expect it to be a blowout because Navy's not that great. But I think it's going to be a close game. I have SMU defeating Navy 27-21. One of the better games this week, number 2, Georgia at number 18, Auburn. Georgia has outscored their last 2 opponents, so Arkansas and Vanderbilt, 99-0. They demolished Vanderbilt 62-0, and they destroyed Arkansas 37-0. Auburn is coming in 4-1 with their loss to Penn State. They've been going back and forth between TJ Finley and Bo Nix at quarterback. Obviously, if one starts and struggles, the other will come in. Georgia, maybe without their starting quarterback, JT Daniels, for the second week in a row. Um, with a he's with a lat injury. He's expected to travel to Auburn with the team, but he's not really expected to play. Um, it looks like Stenson Bennett will make his third start of the season. And Georgia is clearly one of the top two teams in the country. You could argue they're the top team in the country. And I think they're going to show it over Auburn with a strong 38-20 win. Number 14, Notre Dame against Virginia Tech. Notre Dame was they weren't upset. They lost to Cincinnati last week. So they have not announced a starting quarterback for the game. So it's going to be interesting to see who does start the game for them at quarterback. They have three options they could go to. They could have the experienced but not mobile Jack Cohn. They have Drew Pine, who came in against Wisconsin when Cohn got hurt, and he came in to spark the offense last week against Cincinnati, although they ended up falling short. And he does have some mobility to him. He's not like a statue there in the pocket like Jack Cohn. And then you have the true freshman Tyra Buckner. He's a very mobile quarterback. He's mainly used as a run-only quarterback, kind of how Florida used Emory Jones last season, because they had the starting quarterback Kyle Trask last year, and he wasn't a very mobile quarterback, so they put in Emory Jones to run the ball. That's kind of what Notre Dame does with Tyra Buckner for designed quarterback runs, options, stuff like that. I really don't think Buckner has a chance at starting the game because he is a true freshman. I don't think he's ready to throw the ball yet. I think it's going to be Cohen versus Pine. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them see some playing time against Virginia Tech. I think Drew Pine will get the start, and I think Notre Dame will beat Virginia Tech 24-10. Number 16, Kentucky against LSU. LSU can't run the ball. Through the season so far, they're averaging 70.6 rush yards per game, and they're averaging 2.6 yards per carry. Those are not good numbers. LSU is 3-2. They lost to UCLA and Auburn, and Kentucky is 5-0 with and they're coming in off an upset win over Florida last week. Kentucky is home, and I think they're going to improve to 6-0 with the 27-13 win over LSU. Number 9, Michigan against Nebraska. I've seen some people are saying that Nebraska's going to pull off the upset here. I just don't really think that's going to happen because Michigan looks very good to start the season. They blew out Wisconsin last week, and Nebraska's 3-3. I think Michigan State comes out with a 31-17 win. Number 1, Alabama against Texas A&M. So Texas A&M fell from the top 25 rankings last week after being upset by Mississippi State, which brings them to 2 losses because earlier in the season they were upset by Arkansas. And Alabama is one of the most dominant teams in the country. You could argue them with number 1 in Georgia. So if you were to argue Alabama for number 1, you'd convince me Alabama. If you were to argue Georgia number 1, you'd convince me for Georgia. Both teams are so even. It's really like too bad there can't be 2 number 1 teams because Alabama and Georgia both deserve the top spot. And then have it 3, which would be Iowa. But Alabama is one of the most dominant teams in the country, and I think they're going to dominate against Texas A&M, 42-17. New Mexico against San Diego State, who is ranked number 25. San Diego State is 4-0, but they haven't beat any good opponents. They did beat Utah, but Utah is 1-2. I think San Diego State gets the big win, 42-14. On to what I see as definitely the best game in the week. You're getting a top 5 matchup between teams 3 and 4 in the country. This, I think, has a chance for Game of the Year. This is going to be an outstanding game. It's going to sort of be a defensive showdown because both teams have a top 3 defense in terms of points per game. Iowa allows 11.6 points per game, and Penn State allows 12 points per game. However, but both offenses average 30 or more points per game. I don't think we're going to see at least 30 points scored by either team. But I could see this game going either way. Although Iowa's home, I'm going with Penn State with the 24-21 win in what has a very good chance for me to be Game of the Year. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment your winner of the Penn State-Iowa game if you agree and disagree and why. And I will see you Sunday for my college football, my updated rankings and playoff predictions after Week 6. So like, subscribe, comment who you think will win between Penn State and Iowa, and I will see you Sunday for my updated rankings and playoff predictions.